I am the daughter of the female lead in a tragic novel. At the age of 4, I finally understood those strange comments. The female lead is still working late nights to earn money to raise her daughter, not knowing that she has cancer. If she delays any longer, the child will lose her mother. If either the male or female lead had a long mouth, there wouldn't have been a storyline where the female lead runs away with a child. The saddest part is our little baby, who had a rich father but was sent to an orphanage. The saddest part is our little baby, who had a rich father but was sent to an orphanage. Is Mom going to die? I looked at my mother, who was gentle and beautiful, and I was stunned. No way, they didn't have a long mouth. But I do. One sunny afternoon, I waited at the entrance of a company and, when I saw a well-dressed man, I rushed to hug his legs. Dad, send money. I need to save Mom. I am Nina, nicknamed Nana. From the time I could remember, I realized I was different from others. I always saw a long string of symbols in front of my eyes. I thought everyone could see them, until I pointed at the air and asked my mom, and Mom looked confused. She asked, "Baby, what are you talking about?" Soon I found out that only my world had those rolling, dense symbols. After getting used to it, it didn't bother me anymore. Until I started learning to read, I found the rolling symbols becoming more familiar. I was smarter than other kids. Mom knew that long ago, so she taught me to read and do math when I was younger. That year, I finally understood those strange symbols called bullet comment. The female lead is still working late and earning money to support her daughter, not knowing that she has cancer. If she delays any longer, the child will lose her mother. If either the male or female lead had a long nose, there wouldn't have been a storyline where the female lead runs away with the child. The saddest part is their daughter, who lost her mother at 6 years old, and the male lead never even knew his wife had died. He had a daughter, and then spent the rest of his life alone. The worst part is our baby, who has a rich father but ends up sent to an orphanage. Is the female lead like the typical female characters in TV dramas? I didn't really understand, so I reached out my soft hand and scratched my head. Mom came home from work looking troubled. Nana, Mom will have to go on a business trip to another city in 2 days. Would you like to stay with Sarah Auntie instead? She will take you to kindergarten. Those strange bullet comment reappeared again. I can't even watch anymore. If the female lead goes to the hospital now, it's still possible to treat in the early stage. The city she went on this business trip was the last chance to meet the male lead, but they still missed each other. I'm really crying. Riley, get me to the hospital. You useless thing. Stop worrying about your stupid job. I'm crying. Baby is really kind. She also feels sorry for her mom's hard work earning money. She doesn't even know her real dad is so rich. I'm really crying. The female lead found out she had stomach cancer, but it was already in the late stage. She gave up treatment just to save money for her daughter. This is so heartbreaking. My tears are worthless. I was stunned. Riley, that's your mom's name. Is it my mom who is sick? I suddenly looked at my mom. She was still gentle and beautiful, but she did seem to have lost some weight, and she hasn't been eating much lately. Is this being sick? Mom's voice came again. Baby, why are you daydreaming again? Mom is talking to you. How about going to live with Aunt Sarah? No, I instinctively refused. Mom didn't expect me to refuse. She opened her mouth to continue discussing with me. Nana, be good. Mom is going to work. I suddenly hugged her legs tightly and looked up at her with red eyes. Mom, help me get a leave. Take me on the business trip. I will be a good girl. Nana, Mom touched my face. Why are you sad? Mom will be back in a few days. You need to be a good girl and go to school. I don't want to. I refused again. I already know everything the kindergarten teacher teaches. Take me with you, Mom, please. Mom couldn't resist my coquetry. Her eyes sparkled, as if she was touched by her own daughter's cuteness. Mom hesitated for a long time, and finally gave in and called the kindergarten teacher to ask for a leave. She emphasized, Nana, when we go out, you must listen to Mom. Don't run around when Mom is working. Okay. I nodded heavily. Mom then took me out. This was my first time going to another city, because Mom was busy, and often had a nanny take care of me. On the way to another city, the comments scrolled across my eyes. Baby girl is going on a business trip with Mom. If they can find Dad, the whole family can be reunited. Exactly. They clearly love each other, but they just don't speak up. I wish I could go in and ask them how important their pride is, more important than separation and death. The female lead's business trip is to a company next to Chandler's. They had the chance to meet again. Ugh. I really hope the male lead knows that the female lead gave birth to a daughter for him. Find Dad. I know that kindergarten kids all have fathers. Mom said my father was far away. I thought he was dead, but he's not. I didn't mind not having a father originally, but these comments say that my mom has been hardworking in raising me, then my dad should also take care of the child. I decided to go find my dad. They don't have mouths, but I do. Mom, what does my dad look like? I asked my mom this question for the first time. Mom's expression froze. Her smile faded. And there was some emotion in her eyes that I couldn't understand. She asked, Nana, why did you suddenly ask this? I want to know. After a long silence, Mom said softly, your dad is very good looking, but he has a bit of a bad temper. That's really bad. Even Mom, who is so gentle, couldn't stand him. But even if he has a bad temper, he should still take care of the child. My mom was worried about me being alone in the hotel. So she took me to the company's building where she was on a business trip. She and her colleagues had to go up to discuss the cooperation, and it wasn't convenient to take me with them. My child's watch was checked repeatedly by her, and Mom gave me instructions. If something happens, call Mom, don't trust strangers easily, and if you need help, you can ask the lady at the front desk. Okay, I nodded seriously. As soon as my mom's figure disappeared into the elevator, I immediately jumped up from my seat and left the building. The live chat was constantly scrolling. Baby girl, have you seen that black Rolls-Royce coming over? That's your dad in there. Never mind. This plot is a bit different from what I expected. Has the author revised the story? Let Nana meet the male lead already. Baby girl, when you see a man with a king-like aura, don't doubt it. That's your dad. Go up and call him. I looked towards another skyscraper not far away, and saw a black car slowly approaching the entrance. The car stopped, and I saw two men getting out of it. The man in front had a cold, handsome face, like a breeze coming over. Live comments. Kid, oh my god, it's him. Go run and hug his legs. That's not just your dad, that's your rich kid's life. Without hesitation, I ran forward with my short legs and grabbed the man's leg in a flash. Then I looked up and shouted loudly, Dad, send money. I want to save Mom. Dad needs to raise the child. The child should take care of the mother. Makes sense. At that moment, the surroundings fell into silence. A moment later, a very impolite voice echoed from above. Where did this chubby girl come from? Chubby girl, me? I suddenly looked up to see where the voice was coming from, and it was a man who seemed exceptionally tall to me, looking down at me face to face, as my mother said. He was very good looking, but he looked really scary. I'm not chubby, my mother said. I was just growing, and my body was soft and cute. Another man in a gray suit wiped non-existent sweat from his face. Mr. Chandler, maybe one of the employees brought their child today. After saying that, he crouched down to look at me and softened his tone. Little kid, tell the uncle. Who are your parents? The uncle will take you to find them. Okay. I looked up again at the person I was hugging. Uncle. My dad is here. Who? The other man was stunned, pointing at the man I was hugging, hesitantly asking, We Mr. Chandler. I nodded firmly. The other man said nothing, stood up, and stammered to his boss. Mr. Chandler, you see this? The person called Mr. Chandler looked down at me and sneered. Little fat girl, did your family ever teach you that you can eat anything, but you can't say anything? How do I know I have such a big daughter? Then I'm telling you now, so you know, I'm not. But you're my dad. Who said that? He crouched down to look at me. Do you even know my name to call me dad like that? I know, your name is Chandler. The Bullet Chat sisters said so. He was stunned for a moment. Do you know me? You're my dad. Of course I know you, I said, looking at him. He stared at me for a while, then laughed. Little fatty, who told you to come here and cause trouble? I'm not a little fatty. You can call me Nana. Okay, Nana. The uncle really doesn't have time to play around with you. Go contact the other uncle to get in touch with your parents. Okay, no, you're going to abandon me. I stared at him and asked, Mom said you're not like that. Are you lying to my mom? A few uncles and aunts stood by. All of them seemed to be my dad's employees, and they had looks of amusement on their faces. He looked like he was actually laughing in anger. Okay, tell me who your mother is. I want to see who I had such a big daughter with. My mother is Riley, I said. The air fell silent again. So you're saying your mother is Riley? After a while, the person in front of me asked slowly. I nodded, yes. The man then looked at me closely, as if trying to find another person's features on my face. The next second, before anyone else could react, he picked me up and walked forward quickly. Behind me, another uncle called out in confusion, Mr. Chandler, Mr. Chandler. I was carried into the elevator, hugging the man who was said to be my father. He wasn't very good at holding children, so I had to adjust my position in his arms. What are you moving around, Dad? You're not holding me comfortably. So he remained silent, letting me squirm. Okay, this is Chandler, the man said, staring at me. After a while, he asked, how old are you, Dad? I'm 4 this year. He fell silent again, then said, do other 4-year-old kids weigh as much as you? I got a little angry. Mom never says you're not good at holding kids, and I don't even mind you not knowing how to hold them. Another man who came into the elevator remained silent like a mute, but his eyes seemed to have a lot to say. The elevator door opened, and I was carried into an office. On the way, I caught several people's surprised glances. I heard someone behind me whisper, Zoe's secretary, Mr. Chandler is carrying whose child? The uncle called, Zoe's secretary, shook his head and didn't say anything. I was placed on the sofa, facing the man in front of me awkwardly. He brought paper and a pen and said to me, you said your mom is Riley, right? Come on, write her name down. The uncle who followed us couldn't hold back anymore and said, Mr. Chandler, a 4-year-old child might not know how to write yet. As soon as he finished speaking, I picked up the pen and wrote Riley on the paper. It was a bit crooked, but I would never get my mom's name wrong. My dad looked at the name for a long time, then his gaze finally fell on me. Did your mom tell you I'm your dad? I shook my head, then he laughed coldly again. So how do you know I'm your dad? Maybe you're not even her child. Otherwise, why didn't she bring you to me? I saw another stream of comments in front of me. Stubborn guy. You're so excited inside, aren't you? You're being so stubborn. No wonder you were sentenced to a marriage-less prison. Why don't you just do a paternity test, baby? Take a few hairs with follicles from your dad. Haha, the male lead probably already mentally decided to accept it regardless of whether it's his biological child or not. I thought for a while, then I pulled out some hair. 1 hair, it hurts. 2 hairs, it hurts. Dad grabbed my hand and said, what are you doing? I was already teary-eyed from the pain, and I put the pulled-out hairs into his palm. Dad, go for the test. And you'll know if I'm your child or not. He was stunned and said, who taught you this? Did your mom teach you? Where is she? Mom is at work. Do you know your mother's phone number? Call her to come pick you up. Dad seemed very determined to meet my mother. I shook my head again and looked at him in disagreement. I already said, my mom is at work. Don't disturb her. Is she at work or is she afraid to come see me? She hasn't done anything wrong. Why is she afraid to see you? Then I heard him snort coldly. This father's temper is really bad. The phone on the table suddenly lit up. I looked over and saw a photo, and exclaimed, wow, you have a photo of my mom from before. My mom looked very young in the photo, and she was wearing what seemed to be a school uniform. Before Dad could say anything, I showed him the wallpaper on my children's watch. Look, I also have a photo of my mom and me. On that small wallpaper was a photo of my mom and me when I was 2 years old. She held me on her lap and looked at the camera gently. Dad stared at the photo for a long time, then suddenly asked, why do you think I'm your dad, and not someone else? Mom will cry when she looks at your photo. I said to him, this is not what the chat said. It's what I saw. There was someone in Mom's heart who made her sad. When I was younger, she would cry at night looking at the photo on her phone. Mr. Chandler, the uncle next to him said, it's time for the meeting. He stood up, looked down at me for a moment, then ordered, let Susan's secretary come and take care of her. Don't let anyone take her away before the meeting ends. So the huge office was left with just me and a beautiful lady. She brought a lot of snacks over and smiled at me. Baby, let me keep you company. Okay. Susan's secretary felt my face, probably thinking it felt good, and then felt it again. She asked mischievously, baby, what's the relationship between you and Mr. Chandler? He's my dad. Her hands on my face suddenly stopped. She cupped my face with both hands, her voice full of resentment and jealousy toward the capitalist. Him, he could have a daughter as cute as you. It was obvious that Susan had been through a lot of trouble from the boss. Mom's work time this time was longer than expected. When I was bored, I sent her a message with my children's watch, so she wouldn't worry about me. About an hour later, the dad came back to the office with a cold face. When she saw him, Susan stood up. Mr. Chandler, I had potato chips in my mouth and mumbled, Dad. Dad looked at Susan. You can leave first, okay? As the office door closed, he came up to me and sat down. Has your mom not contacted you yet? Maybe she doesn't want you anymore and intentionally left you with me. I crossed my arms and glared at him. Chandler, don't you dare say that about my mom. You're being disrespectful. Didn't you just call me dad a minute ago? He reached over and wiped the potato chip crumbs off my mouth. My mom likes you. You're my dad. My mom likes others. Others can be my dad too, I said confidently. Mom's girl. He sneered. My mom's beloved daughter. I continued to cross my arms and nodded. That's right, I am a mom's girl. As dinner time approached, I touched my stomach and tugged at the sleeve of the person next to me. Dad, I'm hungry. Didn't you just eat a bunch of snacks? You're already hungry. He poked my stomach, as if checking if I was telling the truth. Snacks are snacks, and dinner is dinner, I said seriously, smart for her age. Dad said that, then called someone to deliver food. This was the first meal I had with my dad, for some reason. His gaze kept falling on my face, and at first he even wanted to feed me, but I was a big kid, and a big kid could eat by herself. After the meal, Mom hadn't arrived yet. She must have encountered a difficult task at work. I felt a bit sleepy and didn't see the message Mom sent me, so I fell asleep on my dad. After some time, my smartwatch rang. In a daze, someone answered the call, and I faintly heard Mom's voice. But my eyelids were too heavy. Someone shook me. Nana. Your mom is coming to pick you up. I instinctively rubbed. Dad, I'm so sleepy. So that voice stopped, and then I felt myself being lifted, lying in a very broad and solid embrace. When I opened my eyes again, I heard arguing. I sat up from the sofa, rubbed my eyes, and saw my mom's figure in my line of sight. Chandler, I told you, Nana isn't your daughter. Under the dim light, my mom looked especially delicate opposite my dad. Chandler, if she isn't your daughter, then how come she called me dad right away? I heard my dad laughing coldly. She said she's 4. If she isn't my daughter, then it's because you cheated on me. Riley, tell me, who's the lover? Chandler, does it make sense to talk about this now? My mom said with exhaustion. It's all over, Chandler. She isn't your child. I'm taking my daughter back now. You say she isn't. I took her for a paternity test this afternoon. When the results come out, we'll know who's lying. Those words made my mom tremble slightly. She moved her lips but said nothing. Mom, Nana, my mom finally focused on me. She came over and hugged me. Her eyes were red. You scared me to death. I pressed my face against hers and whispered, Mom, I'm sorry. Mom kissed my face. I'm sorry. It's my work's fault. I didn't take good care of you. An inappropriate voice inserted itself beside us. What? You two are getting sentimental. What am I, the villain? I looked over, and Dad's handsome face was very dark. I asked Mom, how could you ever like such a scary person before? Both of them were silent, and I kept my eyes open, watching them. Nana, let's go back with Mom. Mom said nothing, picked me up and started to leave. At this moment, Dad reached out, and his tone remained cold. I'll carry you. I don't know how you've been living these years. Your daughter is already so plump. You must be so thin yourself. Don't you worry about straining your waist. Dad, I'm not fat, I emphasized to him. He lifted me a bit and snorted. Has all your food been spent on you? I decided not to talk to him anymore. Mom silently followed beside me, watching me and Dad, with a complicated expression. Elevator. Dad finally spoke. Riley, wasn't it you who just left without saying a word? Why? Mom lowered her head and didn't speak. If you really didn't care about me, why did you have my child? I saw the scrolling messages again. Oh my God. The male lead finally opened his mouth and asked, please, for my sake, just speak up. Okay, a friend of mine said if you two don't clear up the misunderstanding, she won't rest in peace, because your mom gave her $5 million to make her leave you. It's so cruel. If the female lead just took that $5 million, I wouldn't be so angry. And don't you remember that you had a legendary fiancé 5 years ago? It's been 5 years. She probably thinks you're already married. Male lead. Explain clearly. I blinked and said, Dad, did you get married? His hands that were holding me suddenly lifted me up to eye level with Dad. He looked calm and said, who taught you to spread such rumors about Dad? Dad, is it because you're not likable that you didn't get married? I tilted my head and asked, Mom has many people chasing her. Is that so? He seemed to glance at Mom. So many people chasing her. But Mom still didn't get married. It's different, I corrected. Mom doesn't like others, but you're not liked by anyone. Okay, Nana, stop talking. Mom reached out and covered my mouth with her hand. Mom refused Dad's offer to take us back. After we got back to the hotel, Mom held me on her lap. After thinking for a while, she finally asked, Nana, how did you know that was Dad's, since I found out that everyone else couldn't see the floating bullets in the air? I gradually stopped talking about it with others. I was afraid Mom would worry. I smiled sweetly at her. Mom, there's a photo of Dad in your wallet, so do you want Dad? Mom asked me. I shook my head, then nodded a moment later. What do you mean? I want Mom, I whispered, but Mom likes Dad, and Dad likes Mom. Mom fell silent, then said, Nana, adult relationships aren't that simple. You're still young, don't worry about your parents' matters. But Mom, if you like someone, you stay together, and if you don't, you part ways. Isn't that how it is? I like other kids and be friends with them, and if I don't like them, I just ignore them. Live comments. Oh my God, smart baby, you're really my mouthpiece. The love between parents depends on you. Baby, exactly, you two are both 30. Why are you still being stubborn? Mom's job is very busy. She didn't take me out anymore. I watched cartoons or used the tablet to study in the hotel, until someone knocked on the door outside. Mom said that I shouldn't open the door for strangers. Who is it? I asked cautiously. It's me, Dad's voice. I stood on the suitcase to open the door, and Dad was standing outside. His eyes scanned inside the room first. But he didn't come in immediately. Where is your mom? Mom went to work. Dad slightly frowned, bent down to pick me up and put me aside, then straightened the suitcase before entering. Dad, how did you know I'm staying here with Mom? Adults' matters are none of a child's business. Dad, are you looking for Mom? If I'm not looking for your mom, then who am I looking for? He said. Dad sat on the small sofa in the room, and I sat next to him. The cartoon was still playing, and Dad glanced at it, then commented, childish. I glared at him. You're an adult and you can still be childish, so why can't I as a child? After a while, he looked at me seriously and suddenly said, has your mom ever mentioned me to you? Yes, she said you have a bad temper. He snorted, then why are you coming to recognize me? Because my mom is sick, I can't take care of her, and I can't take care of myself. I looked at him helplessly. I don't have money, but you're my dad, you have to support me. I can take your money to pay for my mom's treatment. Your mom is sick. Dad frowned. What's wrong with her? I shook my head. I don't know, but my mom has been getting thinner and thinner lately, and she's not eating much. Upon hearing this, Dad became annoyed and took out his phone, calling someone. I didn't understand. When Mom came back from work, she saw me and Dad playing games and was shocked. Chandler, why are you here, Mom? I ran over and hugged her legs. Dad didn't say anything, frowning as he walked over and scooped me up, lifting me off the ground, then wrapped his arm around Mom and started to pull her out. Chandler, let me go. Mom struggled. Where are you taking me? Dad sighed. Still like this, stubborn as a pig. Not long after, he let go and said to me, your mom is too uncooperative. I'll have to take you, this little piggy, as a hostage. I protested. I'm a little piggy. But you're a pig too. He let out a mocking laugh. Sure enough, after Mom was released and saw me still in Dad's arms, she came back immediately, following him all the way into the car. Chandler, give my daughter back to me. Mom was so angry her eyes turned red. I immediately rushed back into Mom's arms, touched her face, and wiped her tears, saying, Mom, don't cry. I'll let Dad take us to the hospital. Why are we going to the hospital? Mom looked at me with concern. Baby, are you not feeling well? Mom, we're going to check your health. I said, you've been feeling unwell lately. We should get checked. Mom was stunned for a moment. Baby, I'm fine. I'm just a bit tired from work. I knew Mom was always like this. She would get extremely worried about even the smallest of my illnesses, but she never treated her own health the same way. Mom, please, let's go to the hospital for a checkup. Okay. I looked at her with pleading eyes. Mom could only give in to me, but she held me and still didn't speak to Dad. The next moment, a hand reached out and pinched my face. Dad's discontented voice said, you did all the good things, and I'm the bad guy. Mom slapped his hand away, but still didn't speak to him. Dad looked at his hand that had been slapped, and said nothing. At the hospital, Dad followed us the whole time. He insisted on arranging a full-body checkup for Mom. During the time we waited for the test results, the two of them didn't speak to each other. Dad took 2 calls, but didn't leave. He was on the phone nearby, and his eyes occasionally fell on me and Mom. It was a private hospital, and there weren't many people there at this time. During the waiting period for the results, I kept pulling at Mom's clothes, anxiously waiting. Mom touched my head and said, baby, Mom is definitely fine. But no, when the test results came back, the doctor said Mom had early-stage stomach cancer. Mom stared at the test results in shock. That night, Dad immediately admitted Mom to the hospital and contacted the attending doctor to discuss the surgery plan. The female viewers in the comments seem to be celebrating the new year. Finally found out, the main character is now in the early stage, so she should be able to recover, right? Oh my god, Nana, when your parents got married, you should sit at the main table. It made me cry. I'm so moved. The cute little baby won't have to be an orphan anymore. Dad has recognized her. And the life of a rich second generation is about to begin. It's so satisfying. Little baby, you're a cute little smarty. Your company's matters are not as important as your life. Take leave or resign, whatever you want, Dad said by Mom's hospital bed. Nana, just follow me. Chandler, why are you fighting for my daughter? My mom became sharp when it came to me. She's my child. I raised her. Why are you? After reuniting, Dad finally yelled at my mom, Riley. Can't you be reasonable? If you don't cooperate with the treatment, you keep delaying. Do you really want her to have no mom? Then it won't even be up to you to fight for her. Dad, Mom, don't fight, I said softly. So both of them fell silent after meeting my eyes. After a long time, I saw Dad kneel in front of my mom, his head resting on her knees, whispering, Riley, let's treat the illness first. Everything else can wait for later. I stood several steps behind Dad, only seeing his hunched figure, his voice suppressed. Not sure if he was crying. I wanted to stay in the hospital with my mom, but I was refused, and crying didn't help. Dad took me back to the hotel and packed all my things and my mom's things. I moved into his house, a desolate big house. He showed me around the whole house and then asked, which room do you want to sleep in? I will sleep in the same room as Mom. Upon hearing this, my father paused for a moment and said to me, you are a big kid now, you can't always sleep with your mom. I chose one of the rooms. And then my father started making the bed. He said, an aunt will come to take care of you later. Be good, and save my number in the children's watch. Call me if you need anything. Where are you going? I'm going to the hospital. My eyes lit up. I want to go too. No, children need to sleep to grow tall. No matter what I say, he is heartless. But he is taking care of me. Aunt Kathy came, and then he went out with the things prepared for my mom. Ugly Dad. Aunt Kathy washed me, and after the bath, I lay on the bed and called my mom, who answered as soon as I connected. Nana, Mom. Hearing my mom's voice made me feel emotional. I miss you, baby. Are you at Dad's house now? Mom asked softly, why are you so upset? Did Dad hurt you? No, I just miss you, Mom. I sniffled. Mom was silent for a long time and said, baby, listen to Dad, and I'll come to pick you up when I get better. How long will it take to get better? Mom doesn't know. Mom, I want to go to the hospital to keep you company, but Dad doesn't let me. I mumbled. Suddenly, another voice cut in. Are you talking about me? Dad is really annoying, he said. Nina, your mom needs to rest. You should go to sleep too. He just hung up the phone like that. I hate Dad. Kathy Aunt came to comfort me to sleep. Nana, Auntie will keep you company while you sleep. Okay. I shook my head and said, Auntie, I can sleep by myself. Okay. Call me if you need anything. I stayed at Dad's house, and he came back the next afternoon and had lunch with me. Where is Mom? Mom is in the hospital. The doctors are discussing the treatment plan, and she can't be discharged for now, he said. Pausing, then seeing the tears in my eyes, he changed the subject. Be good and stay home. I'll take you to see her when I get off work. Okay, Dad. I ate quickly, and heard him say, I don't know what you like to eat. You can tell Kathy Auntie and she will cook for you. After finishing the meal, Dad took a tissue to wipe my mouth, stared at me for a while, then suddenly picked me up and weighed me. Dad, what are you doing? Nothing. I just suddenly got a daughter. And it still feels a bit unreal, like a dream. He was muttering something, which I didn't understand very well. Dad, can you take me to the company and go see Mom directly after work? No, okay, we kids don't have the right to decide. I don't have many chances to visit my mom during her treatment. Dad hates it. He doesn't let me go to the hospital often. This leads to me arguing with him. Chandler, take me to see my mom. You're being disrespectful again. He looked at me with raised eyes. Your mom doesn't have the energy to take care of you right now. Don't go to bother her. I want my mom. I'll just go see her and come back. I won't cause any trouble. I looked at him with longing. No, the person who said this clearly had a heart of stone. I got angry, stood on the chair, put my hands on my hips and said, How can you be like this? No wonder mom doesn't want you. That sentence hit Dad's sensitive spot. He snorted and stood up to look at me. You still remember how your mother betrayed me, right? I haven't even confronted her yet, and you, a little kid, are mocking your father. It's her problem that your mother is immoral. I'm not going to argue with you about it, he said. How could he say such things about mom? What are you talking about? I shouted. My mom isn't immoral. It was your mom who gave her a 5 million check to leave you, saying you were going to marry someone else. What did you say? Dad was stunned. I was so angry that tears rolled down my eyes. If only mom had taken your mom's money, she wouldn't have had to work so hard to raise me, and maybe she wouldn't have gotten sick. Ugh, the more I thought about it, the more upset I became. I ran to the coffee table, where my notebook and pen were placed. What are you doing? He asked. My tears blurred my eyes as I choked out. I'm going to write a memo to remind myself next time I see mom. Telling her not to like you anymore and find me a new dad. After a while, someone sat down next to me and looked at what I was writing on the notebook, then laughed. You can read pretty well. Your mom is so busy, yet she still has time to teach you how to read, right? I didn't want to speak. Mom bought a learning machine. I can study by myself. You're smarter than other children. You can praise me, but I won't forgive you. I turned around, only showing him my back of the head. Dad reached out to wipe my tears and laughed. You've cried yourself into a little panda. Tell the truth to Dad. Who told you those words? The live chat sister said. No one told me, but I just know. If you don't believe me, go home and ask your mom. That's grandma. She doesn't like mom, and she won't like me either. I rubbed my eyes. She just wants a granddaughter from another auntie. Dad remained silent for a moment. There's no other auntie. Grandma will definitely like you. Even if she doesn't like you, it's okay. I like you. You're lying. You still call me a little fat girl. That's because you're cute. Cute to the point of swelling, means. I still turned my head away and ignored him. After a while, Dad suddenly poked me. Nana, Dad has a question for you. Do you know a guy named Sam? Do you mean Sam uncle? Dad's face turned serious. They still have contact, I remembered. The live chat sister said that Sam uncle is the second male lead in this tragic novel. He always thought Dad wasn't good to mom, and wanted to take her away. Sam uncle used to like mom, but after mom left Dad, she found out she was pregnant. Sam uncle wanted to take care of her, but mom refused. Sam uncle later also came to terms with it. I knew your mom had a thing for him, always calling him senior. But Dad, I whispered, Sam uncle's son can already crawl. Uncle Sam got married 2 years ago. And he sent a message to mom to announce the birth of his baby. Sam got married and had a child. Dad was surprised. I nodded. Then on that day, Dad's mood improved noticeably. Mom's surgery was successfully completed, and she was still in the hospital. Dad said the hospital had many patients, and as I was a child with weak immunity, I couldn't visit often. I always felt he was lying. But Kathy Aunt sometimes had things to do at home, and Dad couldn't leave the company, so he had to take me to work. Then one day finally, Kathy Aunt was at home with me when an unexpected visitor came. Kathy Aunt clearly knew the visitor, and she welcomed her in. It was a lady who looked very elegant, and she was followed by a beautiful aunt. Kathy, I heard that my son now has a daughter. I see the chat scrolling in front of me. Ah, this is your grandma. Take her, baby girl. Hurry up. No one can resist a high IQ and over-the-top cute human child, especially a biological grandma. Oh my God. Why is this secondary female character still haunting around? Isn't she already married? The person above clearly didn't read the story carefully. The secondary female character married a spoiled young man, but she didn't like him, and she didn't let him play around outside. They couldn't get along, so they divorced. This is because the male lead had a stepchild, and she thought she could still be a mother without any pain. No way. After divorcing, could this picky mother-in-law still like someone who has been divorced? She doesn't like him, but the son is already 30, and the mother is getting anxious. After the female lead left, the male lead didn't look at anyone else for these 5 years. I looked at the two people in front of me. Kathy Auntie introduced beside me. Nana, this is your grandma. Call her, Grandma. I'm Nana. After a short pause, before I could speak again, the woman next to Grandma introduced herself. Nana, my name is Bella. I'm your dad's friend. Miss Bella, nice to meet you. Grandma's eyes fell on my face, and after a long while, she sat down next to me. I don't know how to please elders, but the live chat sister said I was already enough just by sitting here. Nana. How old are you this year? Grandma asked. Grandma, I'm 4 years old. When my dad received a message from Kathy Aunt, I was already sitting on Grandma's lap, and she was happily holding my little hand. Our Nana is really smart, Bella Aunt said next to me. Nana, will Aunt come to visit you often from now on? Mom, why didn't you say something before coming over? Dad walked over while frowning and took me out of her arms. Grandma's smile also disappeared. What's wrong with me coming to my son's house? You can come, but if you're bringing in unrelated people, I'm not very welcoming, Bella Auntie said upon hearing this. Chandler, you don't have to be like this. I came here with Auntie. After all, we almost got married before. Nana is very cute, and I like her too. Where did that almost come from? Dad said coldly. Did I agree to this engagement? Grandma was about to say something, but Dad was already seeing her off. Mom, if there's an opportunity, I'll bring Nana and her mother back to visit you and Dad. For now, that's it. What do you mean by, if there's an opportunity? Grandma paused. Who is the child's mother? Dad remained calm. It means if her mother is willing to be with me, and if she's willing to go all the way to marriage, then I'll bring them to visit you. Her mother is Riley. Grandma was stunned. Her lips moved, as if recalling something she had done a few years ago that led to her granddaughter being left behind. Dad held me at the door while seeing guests off, and he said to Grandma, Mom, if you don't want your son to end up lonely, don't interfere with my private matters. After closing the door, Dad put me down. I thought you didn't like Grandma. Just now you two got along well. Who cares? She's your mother. I sighed at Dad. He laughed and tapped my forehead. You're a little smarty pants. Go change into some clothes. I'll take you to the hospital to see your mom later. Yay. Mom was recovering well after surgery, but her face was still pale. I leaned over and said, Mom, I missed you so much. Look, I've even lost weight from missing you. A mocking laugh came from beside me. Is that so? I don't see it at all. I glared at Dad. Mom said she can be discharged in a few days and told me to be a good boy. Visiting time is over. Dad told Kathy Auntie to take me home. He stayed behind to take care of Mom. When we reached the door, I heard my parents' voices from inside. Chandler, you told me to let you do it yourself. I can bathe myself. You can do it. Where have I not seen you? I've been taking care of you all this time. Now you think I'm in the way. Let the nurse come. I gave her the night off. I'll stay here tonight. The chat messages were scrolling again, this time all from screaming chat sisters. The most repeated message was, so sweet. I don't understand. The day my mom was discharged from the hospital, I was happy wearing a new outfit to pick her up. The new clothes were bought by my dad, and he bought a lot. I want to look nice to pick up my mom when she is discharged. Dad took my mom home, and he reluctantly prepared another room for her. I said I could sleep with my mom, but he wasn't happy about it. He showed me several posters. Come on, family meeting. Nana, the kids are going to change kindergartens. Pick one. Dad said he couldn't let my mom go back to work without rest, or her body would break down again before it's fully recovered. So I also have to change kindergartens. You two choose. The child couldn't think about these issues. I still managed to get the right to sleep with my mom because she agreed. Mom, I said, hugging her arm, have you and Dad made up? No, but I saw Dad kiss you before. Baby, you must have misseen. Then do you still like Dad? Mom stayed silent for a long time and pinched my face. This isn't something you need to worry about. Go to sleep. The adult world is complicated and full of conflicts. Dad said that after Mom got sick, she needed to take good care of herself, pay attention to her diet, and he specially hired a nutritionist for her, and she gradually gained a little weight. He said that before, when Mom was with him, she weighed over 100. That was a healthy weight. The comments appeared very frequently during this time. Dad took us out to eat at a Western restaurant and prepared a children's meal for me. After dinner, Dad pulled out a bunch of pink flowers like magic. He pulled out a flower from the side and handed it to me, saying, Nana likes flowers. Live comments. Our Mr. Chandler, when are you planning to take the child to the hospital to check his back? According to the rules, a child this young shouldn't be carrying such a big burden. Yes, yes. Nana likes it, and then only gave a flower to the daughter. Who else is left? It's really hard to guess. Who was worrying about what the wife likes yesterday morning? Dare to check the phone search history. You specifically told the flower shop to leave one that can be taken out. Is the little baby only carrying one flower? Cold-hearted guy. This isn't the time to talk bad about your wife. I looked up at them and said to my dad, Dad, this one is for me. The rest are for whom? Do you have another daughter? My dad pinched my face and said with gritted teeth, you're making up rumors about your dad again. I shook off my dad's hand, struggled to carry the big bouquet of flowers, and handed it to my mom. Mom, this is the flower your dad gave you, the live chat sister said. If you like it, you should say it out loud. After I said it, my parents' expressions changed to varying degrees. Dad, isn't this for Mom? Dad, yes, Mom, are you going to accept Dad's flower? Then my dad and I both looked at Mom. Mom took the flower and smiled at me. Nana, what should we say to Dad? Thank you, Dad, the both of us said at the same time. After a while, it seemed Dad had given in, thinking that two big daughters would be okay. All the way home, the comments appeared again. I'm dying. The male lead, you prepared a gift, just take it out and give it to the female lead. If you don't have a mouth, at least you have hands, right? Hurry up, I'm really getting annoyed by your lovey-dovey nonsense. I want to see something that adults should watch. The comment section sister is also getting impatient. Mom is about to take off her makeup. Mom, I called out to her. What's wrong, Nana? I ran to Dad, reached into his pocket, pulled out a flat little box, and then ran back to Mom. Mom, this is the gift Dad gave you. He's shy. The air suddenly became quiet. Mom looked past me, toward Dad behind me. Baby sits at the main table. Haha, my cute daughter. What good deeds did the male lead do in his past life to have such a considerate daughter in this life? The male lead has been hesitating all the way, but finally got sent off by his daughter. Ha ha ha, no wonder the boss's daughter is so decisive. Ha ha ha. I don't know why my parents were looking at each other for so long. I'm sleepy, rubbing my eyes to go find Kathy auntie to wash up. Dad strongly demanded that Mom at least stay at home to recover for a year, and every time he said it was for the children's sake that she needed to take care of her health. After half a year of rest, Mom couldn't stay still and secretly checked the company's website, which Dad found out and he got very angry. Mom, Chandler, you don't need to always bring up the daughter. Even if you helped me a lot before, you can't restrict my personal freedom. I decide my own health. Dad, you decide. What have you decided? You don't even know how badly you've been taking care of yourself. After arguing, the two of them went into a cold war. After watching the comments, I ran to my mom's side and said, Mom, if you don't pay attention to Dad, he will lose his little pearls. Not long after that, my mom went to work. But she went to Dad's company. I started a new kindergarten, where the children were similar to those before, although not very smart. They were very cute. Kindergarten children should go to bed early and get up early. One night, I got up drowsily to go to the bathroom. When I came back, I saw a bit of light coming from the slightly open door of my mom's room, and the sound of my parents' conversation was faintly heard. I couldn't hear clearly. I rubbed my eyes and was about to go back to bed and sleep. Suddenly, a stream of comments appeared in front of me. The main characters finally cleared up the misunderstanding, making me want to cry. They finally know about the long mouth, wailing, and the long mouth isn't just for talking. Kiss me, baby, go back to bed and don't disturb your parents. You'll have a younger brother or sister. No, why did it suddenly have an ellipsis? I saw an ellipsis in the worst place possible. Death smile. I see. 6 dots means 6 times, right? 6 sets. Damn author, not giving detailed descriptions of key plots. Curse you, no seasoning in your instant noodles. Buy 2 slippers, both left feet. Damn website. How dare you let a premium member see ellipses? If you keep doing this, I won't renew my subscription next month. There are a lot of garbled characters in the middle. I can't understand. I yawned and went back to bed. Later, I asked my dad, Dad, am I going to have a younger brother or sister? Dad paused and asked me, do you want a younger brother or a sister? I thought for a moment and said, I want a sister. Okay, Dad agreed. Not long after, Dad brought a calico cat home and introduced her to me. Nana, this is your sister. Lucky, the kitten was placed in my arms, making purring sounds. Dad, why is my sister making noise all the time? Dad said, your sister likes you. The sister is cute. One evening, my parents took me to visit someone's house. As we opened the door, it was very lively inside. A uncle was showing off his plump child in his arms. Look at my son, how cute he is. You guys who haven't become fathers can't understand. A red carpet was laid on the ground, with many things placed around it. Mom said this was the grabbing ceremony, and I also did it before. The uncle holding the child stared at me and Mom. Dad introduced them. Let me introduce. This is my wife Riley. And my daughter Nina. This introduction surprised many people. No way, Chandler, where did you get such a big daughter? When did you get married? Chandler, you also play the secret marriage and child-rearing game. Where is your sister-in-law from? Dad said calmly, I'll send you the wedding invitation later. I greeted each person according to his introduction. The uncle holding the child is surnamed James. He has a good relationship with my father and seems to know my mother. But he was still very surprised to see me. My father pointed to the baby in his arms and said to me, if you want a younger brother, here's one. My father said that my mother was not in good health and could only have one child, me. If I wanted a younger brother or sister, he would find one from somewhere else. It's okay then. When my parents got married, I was the flower girl and ate at my parents' wedding banquet, very full. The live chat sisters were frantically scrolling on my screen. Gift $1,000, add to the author's account. Gift $10,000, add to the author's account. Pay $1 million as a gift, and it will be recorded on the author's account. Later, as I grew older, my parents took me to take an IQ test. My father was quite surprised by the result. He pinched my face that was no longer so chubby. It turns out you really are a little genius. So I could skip grades when I was in school. Later, those comments gradually disappeared, as I grew older. I probably understood why the comments disappeared, because my parents' story had already ended in that novel, but in my eyes, their story was still continuing. After my mom and dad got together, she became much happier. Nina, when you were 4 years old, I tolerated you, but now you're 8 years old, and you still want to sleep with your mom at night. Aren't you ashamed? Dad said, arms crossed. Dad, you're so big and still sleep with mom. I'm 8. I'm still a child. Get it straight. That's my wife. Dad was dissatisfied. Go sleep with your sister. Both me and my sister want to sleep with mom. Nina, I think it's because I've been too lenient with you all along. Arguing, I suddenly remembered the nickname the bullet comment sister gave me and dad before the bullet comments disappeared. The antipath father and daughter. It does seem right, after hearing the story above. What are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.